after you left the home, you would be in regular contact with your siblings?
My sister.
Your sister, Sophia?
Yes.
And you heard in the sort of weeks before was it a week before you sat down and had that conversation with your father that you had heard something about a text saying they're fighting again?
From when I met him at the firehouse?
Yes.
It was either sometime that week or the week before.
Okay, so it's within about a week of that?
Yeah, the first met. Yeah, when I met him.
When you heard about the fighting from Sophia, was there any mention that it was physical fighting or just verbal?
She just told me they're fighting again. I want to get out of the house.
Okay. There wasn't any statement about physical fighting?
I can't remember what I said on the text or what was sent to me.
Okay. In fact, Sophia, you don't remember Sophia ever describing a physical fight after you left the house, isn't that right? Just verbal?
I can't remember. A few years ago. I would have to look back and see what she sent to me.
Okay, but as you stand here right now, nothing stands out with regard to Sophia telling you about physical fights after you left the house?
Not off the top of my head, I can't remember.
Okay. Now, you mentioned earlier that you and Mac perhaps had some doubts about your father's alcoholism. Did you ever get a sense that you believed that your mother believed that your father was an alcoholic, right?
She was pretty involved in the process, so yeah.
And she would go to like Al-Anon, correct?
Including Al-Anon, yeah.
Yeah. And she would read the AA books, correct?
I don't know what she read enough, but
okay. And you're also aware that she was going to school at Quincy College, right?
Yes, I was aware.
And she was studying some sort of psychology?
I don't know what she studied.
It was your understanding that one of the reasons she went back to school was to try to understand what was going on with your father?
I don't know. She told me that she wanted me to be proud of her, that she was going to school.
Okay. Did you have a sense that one of the reasons that she went to school was to try to figure out and support your father, though?
Yep. Can you answer it if he knows?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. So, for example, when she decided that she was going back to school, did you have a sense that she was doing so in order to help support your father?
I don't know. That wasn't important to me at the time.
Okay. Now, we talked on direct examination a little bit about the layout of 679 Moraine Street.
Mm-hmm.
We also talked about that large living room, dining room area.
The open floor plan, yeah.
Yeah. That was connected to the kitchen, correct?
Through 2 steps, yeah.
2 steps. About how high up were those 2 steps? A little over a foot?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. On June 19th, when your mother grabbed the knife was it from the kitchen drawer or was it from the block of knives?
Say that again?
You said that you were there when you saw your mother grab the knife on June 6, 2019?
Yeah.
Was that from the drawer or was that from the block of knives?
I don't know which one, but there was a block of knives and right above it was a magnet that held kitchen knives on that too.
And do you remember where she got the knife that she grabbed?
I can't remember which one, but it seemed, to me, it was more reasonable that she grabbed it from the magnet. That was easy to just grab.
Okay. And you were there when she grabbed it?
Yeah.
Within a few feet of her, like 3 feet of her?
That was behind her, yeah.
3 feet behind her. As soon as she grabs that knife, at that moment, you go into action, right?
Yeah.
And that's when you sort of do sort of the reverse. Is it more like a full Nelson or more like a bear hug?
No, it was wrapped. My arms were wrapped around her, like around her backside, but around her arms. So her arms were back like this.
Did she, when you say that she grabbed the knife and she moved, how far did she get towards that threshold the 2 steps of the living room, dining room before you were able to stop her?
There's probably like a step or two from where the knives were.
Okay. So she only was able to get about a step from where the knives were when you stopped her. She was still in the kitchen.
Yeah, she's in the kitchen.
And then you brought her and sat her down in a chair, still in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay. And your father was outside one of the doors that went off that living room, dining room area.
He went through the side door, but he's still visible through the screens.
You could see him through those windows, correct? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Right. But meaning if you're in the threshold between the kitchen and the living room, dining room area, you can see through those screens. Is that what you mean?
Wait, say it again?
So where can you see through those screens? Is it in the kitchen or is it in the steps leading down to
in
the
the
kitchen?
kitchen, you can see it.
Okay. So he's in the off of the living room, dining room area, correct?
Outside, yes.
Yeah. And your mother is in the kitchen the entire time during that interaction.
Yeah.
Okay. How tall was your father?
I don't know how exactly tall, but maybe like around 6 feet, a little bit bigger, maybe.
Okay. And your mother?
I have no idea. Maybe 5'4", 5'5", maybe. I don't know.
All right.
Good afternoon, sir. Just a few questions for you. Defense counsel asked you about the time when your father shared with you that he was an alcoholic, and you used the word confusion on your part.
Yes.
Can you explain why you were confused about that?
Me and my sister were having conversations of
Objection, Your Honor.
All right, not to the conversation, but why were you confused by that revelation?
to me, I don't know what alcoholic meant, but it didn't seem like my dad. We were just described of how alcoholics were, and he didn't fill that criteria to us.
Objection and move to strike the us.
I'm going to just ask you to limit that answer to
Sorry.
your own confusion, sir.
Sorry. He didn't seem like an alcoholic.
Okay. And defense counsel asked you about end of 2018 and the fact that the affair kept being brought up to you and how it bothered you that it kept being brought up. And I believe you said it would have been nice if the defendant didn't bring up the affair every day. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that how it seemed to you, or is that how it was, that she was bringing it up every single day?
It was every time.
And you also indicated defense counsel was asking you a number of questions about your potential resentment towards the defendant. You remember that line of questioning?
I do.
And he asked you, and that was because of the affair, and you indicated that wasn't the only reason?
Yes.
Were there other reasons you resented her?
It was
It's fair game. Let him answer.
it was how she was being physical and how she was verbal towards everybody in the family.
Objection, Your Honor, move to strike.
See you at the side of the bench.